This telecast is also available on ESPN2 HD presented by Olivia. Welcome to Houston Raceway Park, where one missed qualifying session and 2 days of rain have finally given through to some sunshine and final eliminations for our top alcohol dragster and top alcohol funny car racers. It's time to go racing on the Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series. Time the National Hot Rod Association Powerade Drag Racing Series has come to Houston, Texas for the O'ReillySpringNationals, and we welcome you on a sun-drenched afternoon to Houston Raceway Park. Earlier this week, though, Bob, there was a lot of rain, there was a lot of emotion over a funny car racer. This is the first national event that everybody will compete at since the loss of Eric Medlin.
Yeah, it has been a very emotional weekend for sure. And of course, a lot of these drivers, even though they're running on the Lucas Oil Drag Racing Trail, had that connection because Eric really did touch everybody in this sport.
And when we talk about our top alcohol funny cars and continue to go racing like Eric Medlin would do, we don't have Frank Manzo here this weekend, but we got Bob Newberry, we got Jay Payne, and we got a pretty even field.
You really do. It's about as even as we've seen the field matched up both in the alcohol dragster and alcohol funny car classes this weekend. It really is a wide open affair. Of course, as you mentioned, the missed qualifying session, the day lost because of the rain. Guys will be hitting the racetrack today, haven't been on the course in 48 hours.
So what does that mean as we take a look at our alcohol funny car highlights from round number one? Well, we begin with the defending event champ, the hometown boy from Kennedale, Texas, Kevin Kinsley, taking on Dennis Taylor from Mountain, California. And color this one up a California win as the Plumbing Concepts car rolls on 571 to 574. Then it was our Gainesville winner, Mickey Farrow, took out a lot of heavy hitters in that Gainesville event. He's taking out another one here. Jay Payne, oh so close, but it's Mickey Farrow who grabs the whole shot win, his 565 beating Jay Payne's 561. So here's how the alcohol funny cars stack up as we look at our Lucas Oil ladders heading into round number two. It's Bob Newberry with the lane choice, Cy Chesterman with the lane choice there as well. Pretty interesting side.
Yeah, it really is. You got two former Lucas Oil world champions, the heavyweights right there. Cy Chesterman already advancing, and then Bob Newberry against Dennis Taylor, who's really looking to find that groove yet here in 07.
And on the other side of the ladder will be Brian Haug with a lane choice over John Patton. And then it's Mickey Farrow over Jimmy Jones, the racing pharmacist.
Yeah, it's an interesting matchup there. Jimmy, the hometown favorite, really, because he's the defending champion. Loves running here at this racetrack. But Mickey Farrow now going back to the last race, beat Frank Manzo, won a race on a hole shot, just took out Jay Payne on a hole shot. It doesn't get much better than that for a guy that going into the race 2 weeks ago had never reached the national event final in this class.
Mickey Farrow rolls into the water box. That's the Gainesville champion who's been taking down a lot of the big hitters lately. Opposite side, that's Jimmy Jones. As you take a look at our Lucas Oil ladder, we'll see it's Bob Newberry set to take on Taylor with lane choice. Cy Chesterman moves his way into the semifinals courtesy of his win over Vaughn Smith, and it's Brian Haug and Mickey Farrow with lane choice on the other side of the ladder.
Yeah, Mickey Farrow's team right now running very well. They took out Frank Manzo in Florida, went into the finals, beat Paul Gill on a hole shot. They're in the home of their sponsor, Vico Hydraulics. I talked to them yesterday during the rain. Had a lot of chance to talk to a lot of guys during the rain yesterday. And along with the Terenzio family that's helping them out, Mickey Farrow's car running very strongly right now. A good opening round, as you see right there. Got around Jay Payne. Anytime you can beat him in the opening round, you got a pretty good race car taking on the Division 4 champ in the other lane.
Let's quickly check in at the far end with Gary Gerald.
Well, 562 with a 2. That put a smile on your face?
It's coming around. It's a little better than it's been. We've had a tough weekend. So.
I understand you've made some major changes here in the engine configuration. What have you done?
We went to Brad Anderson stuff from Venny heads. So it's been a learning curve, and we struggle in Gainesville, and we've been struggling here, but it's coming around, so it's good news.
Passing grade thus far.
Jimmy Jones in that Texas Tremor car. That's your racing pharmacist getting ready to take on what's become one of the baddest hitters in the class.
Yeah, Mickey Farrow's car has been flawless during the qualifying. They struggled just a little bit in that abbreviated session, as you mentioned. Only in the number 14 spot, but this car's red hot.
Both with great moves side by side. Who'll get the stripe? It's going to be Mickey Farrow. 561, 257. Best run of the weekend for him.
Hey, Jimmy Jones with a solid effort. 569 at 254 miles an hour. He was a couple of thousandths better off the starting line. Mickey Farrow at an 022 light. Got to wonder, what's a guy got to do here in Texas to get out of the gate first? Because Jimmy put an 0.18 on it, but then a good power there from Anthony Terenzio ran him down 561, 257, and right now for his entire racing career, Mickey Farrow has never had a better race car, Dave, than he's got right now.
Well, we were talking about the top alcohol funny cars coming into this class. It was a very even class, so how are things shaking out now as we look toward the semifinals?
Well, it's funny. I said that Cy Chesterman, with that win at 562, all of a sudden goes into the role of co-favorite. Mickey Farrow, I'll see your 62, raise you a little bit. He goes 61. We have yet to see Bob Newberry in this round. He loves coming here, 4-time champion here at this event. So that Valvoline car is going to be a contender here and a factor. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him dip into the 50s. Guy's been dipping into the mud out there too. It's been tough all weekend. Racers, spectators, fans, everybody. Just getting your car up to the starting line.
Actually, kudos to our NHRA safety safari as well as Houston Raceway Park officials. I didn't think this one was going to get in.
It's interesting. We got some West Coast cars here. John Patton coming out of the Division 7 area in Arizona, and Brian Houck with his team out of Oregon running #2 qualifier, knocking on the door of that 550s here this weekend. I talked to a lot of the teams. They love coming down here to Texas. This is a great racing service. Added new asphalt down on the second half of the racetrack. It's good. It's smooth. The lanes are evenly balanced. That's why I see such a good mix of racers from the East Coast and the West coming here to Houston.
Brian told me after the first round today that he wants to get his race car into the 550s. He's been dipping down to that 560, 561 range. Can't quite get over that hill. Let's see how he does here in this matchup against John Patton. Semi-final round on the line.
We'll see how low he can go.
Oh, he's going to be crushed again. Another 561, 252 miles an hour. But you know what? You can go 561 and get around when you got to do that.
Yeah, that is the main thing. It never makes any difference what you run. You want to turn on that wind light. We saw a little tire shake from some of the cars here this weekend. John Patton out of the starting gate, just a little bit low on power. Then he drops the cylinders. You see it right there. RPMs come up, and he is out. Haug, another one in the low 560s.
Well, we're going to take a quick commercial break to try to towel off from the swampy conditions here at Houston Raceway Park, but we got more racing action when we return.
The NHRA Lucas Oil Sportsman Series, brought to you by Lucas Oil, the world leader in heavy-duty and high-performance lubricants.
Back at Houston Raceway Park in the Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series, you wanted a 550 player. You've got a 550 player on the line right now. It's your #1 qualifier, Bob Newberry, set to take on the California car of Dennis Taylor. First, let's check in with Gary.
Well, Mickey Farrow, Bob Fry was saying just moments ago that this car may be performing as good now as at any time in your career. Tell us about that if you agree.
Yes, I do agree, and it is running. It's running very well. The tune-up seems to be good, and we're not hurting anything. We're consistently running good numbers, and we're happy to get that win.
Drivers got to love that from a confidence standpoint,
Yes,
right?
yeah, we do. I do as well. Yes.
All right, wish you well going on.
Okay, our thoughts and prayers go out to the Medlin family, John Force Racing. You know, we're all racing with heavy hearts this weekend, and everything goes out to them.
Thanks, Mickey.
Mickey did tell me that coming in here, having that confidence as a driver, he's got Mike Pavia, who used to be with Bob Newberry, doing the clutch. So now Mickey doesn't have to worry about the mechanical stuff between rounds. He gets to focus strictly on the driving.
So how will the Mike Pavia-less Bob Newberry do in this round? Coming up against Dennis Taylor. Look at the noob. He's already staged, ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, the Plumbing Concepts team of Dennis Taylor has had good performance this season, but when the cars run well, the driver's been a bit off. And when the driver's been off, the car's been a bit off. If he hits it all together here, Taylor could give the noob a run for his money.
Noob a couple hundred out of the gate, and by the stripe, it's 566, 258. Wonder if he'll be happy with those numbers.
Now, it's interesting that a 566 is going to be the slowest winning time of the round here. The Valvoline team machine with an excellent run right there. You got into the semifinals, but no, he will not be happy with that, Dave.
Well, here are our semifinal matchups in top alcohol funny car. It will be Bob Newberry and Cy Chesterman with the lane choice going to Sioux City Cy. And on the other side will be Brian Houck with lane choice over our Gainesville winner, Mickey Farrow. One more look at Bob Newberry's run. Clean and green, 566. He's headed to the semis. More to come from Houston. We are set to go now for our top alcohol dragster quarterfinals as we welcome you back to Houston Raceway Park in the O'Reilly Spring Nationals as you look into the eyes of the Rizalone driver. That's your champ, Bill Reichert.
Yeah, he is also coming off a very solid opening round. We'll see that in a moment. Team 1 best appearing crew here this weekend, and a great matchup here in round 2 against Randy Meyer. We saw these two guys go at it in the finals just a couple of weekends ago. Bill Reichert's car with some monster runs here. Randy Meyer with some great numbers in Florida. It's an early round showdown. You don't normally expect to see these two mix it up in the second round, but Randy struggled a bit in qualifying, only being in the bottom half of the field.
Let's not forget, also, we've missed one round of qualifying, too, so the ladder could have changed. But as it is, we do have a prime-time showdown here in round number 2. We mentioned Bill Reichert and the run that he put up in the opening session, taking on Vitaly Kazakevich. Watch the driver in the near lane, shake, pedal, and then get this car hooked up. 525, a great number, but check out that speed. 2 mile an hour faster than anybody's ever gone. Yeah,
that is huge, and that car was just about flawless in that round.
And it's Randy Meyer and Sean Langdon. Meyer picking up the win in Gainesville, keeping the beat going right here. 531, 252. He will move on into round number 2, and here's how they stack up. It'll be Reichert and Meyer. Dwayne Shields out from Nevada, and Marty Thacker, the only blown car on the property this weekend, still racing. And on the other side, it will be Morgan Lucas and Aaron Oliveras. That's going to be a pretty good matchup in its own right. And then Spencer Massey and Brandon Pierce.
Yeah, this is just a great run we have right here coming up. Bill Reichert coming off his Lucas Oil Championship last year, running in the Jegs All-Star program, the big hitter out of Division 3, that huge speed. Randy Myers, we mentioned on the show in Gainesville, running over 230 miles an hour at half track. If he can keep this car hitting on all 8 cylinders, he should give Bill a run. This has the potential to be one of the best runs ever in this class, just like they gave us in the finals in Florida.
Does he have enough, Reichert, to run around? Yes. Amazing, the speed, not what it once was. 521, 268. He credited this big speed to a new Arthur Gallant wing on that race car, but boy, fortunately, he had enough horsepower and racetrack to run around Randy Meyer. Great race.
And Randy Meyer, he goes 527 and gets beaten. He was 400s better off the starting line. Margin of victory at the end. That's just about a nose job there. Great job for the defending champion.
Let's go down the far end, Gary.
And Brian Howe patiently waiting. You got to get back there to that race car and get ready, but nothing was damaged. That's good. You're going on now to another round. That's even better.
That is better. We didn't know if we hurt something there, but it was just the parachute that wrapped around the tire. But we had a good run. We've been working hard on trying to run these 45s like Manzo's doing, but if we can run 60 every single run of the weekend, we should be able to get to the final and win the race. Thanks to our sponsor, Limb Saver, Outdoor Sporting Wear, and Lucas Oil NGK. We're going on to the next round. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sometimes you get too hyped up about running the numbers. The main goal, turn that green light on. Let the numbers take care of themselves. A lot of drivers over the years we've seen get too amped up, want to run the big numbers. You have that tire shake or you jump on the line and you get beat. You want to go rounds.
Well, when you talk about the future of NHRA Powerade drag racing, look no further than the pair we have on the line right now. Morgan Lucas heads through the water box already with an established top fuel racing career. But in the lane next to him will be Aaron Oliveras, a guy who's really should be up there, is going to be up there eventually in that Tough Shine car owned by Arthur Gallant.
It's very interesting. I talked to both Arthur Gallant. I talked to Steve Boggs, the crew chief for Morgan Lucas, before the run. Boggs says, you know, these cars are so temperamental. 1%, you're going to have weak shake. That's what they had down there in Florida. He said at the right percentage, you're going to run the big numbers. 1% more, you're going to blow the tires off. He said, everybody knows that, but the big key is finding what that right percent is. Arthur out there in Florida, we saw him qualify well, blew the tires off in the opening round, changed the wing configuration on the race car, try to get more downforce, but again, in the abbreviated qualifying, they struggled just a little bit with this Oliveras car.
Meanwhile, Morgan Lucas, after not turning a wheel in this race car for 2 days, said he went up in that first round, went up there a little soft and almost went up there with that weak shake that we were talking about, was able to sneak by that with 527. But you got to believe that Steve Boggs won't make that mistake again.
You got two great crew chiefs here. If you look at the history of this class, nobody's had more cars run better than Steve Boggs, and I'm talking about for a long, long time. Aaron Oliveras with a car that he's teamed up with Arthur Gallant, the Tough Shine team. They were best appearing crew down there in Gainesville, but it's a drag race. It's not a car show, so let's get it on, boys. We'll find out if Oliveras and the team have that wing set up right.
Side by side, it's going to be Morgan Lucas, the 23-year-old, putting the 32-year-old Aaron Oliveras away today. And check out the number, 536 for Morgan Lucas.
We just saw two great runs here. Reichert in that round right before him against Randy Meyer. Look at this one, 5:36 beats a 5:40. The two kids basically dead even off the starting line, down about half track. It was a push, almost a tie. Great drag race. So credit Morgan Lucas, Steve Boggs, that team, 5:36, and they advance into the semifinal round. He's had a pretty good start to the season already with a couple of final rounds on the Lucas Oil Divisional Trail. So the Lucas car with Lucas driving and the Lucas points going rounds.
Down to the far end once again. Let's check in with Gary Gerald and the champ.
We check in with the champ, Bill Reichert. Sometimes Bob was talking about getting caught up in numbers. Do you ever get caught up in numbers, especially after you ran that brilliant, what was it, 282 there in the first round?
Yeah, sometimes those things just happen. You got to just keep on going. Just keep on trying what you're doing.
How about this new wing on this car? How much of a contribution is that making to today's success?
I believe that is a part of it because that's new for this weekend, and it certainly seems to run real good. So I got to think that's a part of it.
All right, go get it ready for the next one.
Thank you.
Got a couple more kids of the class coming to the starting line right now. It's 24-year-old Spencer Massey from Fort Worth, Texas. Over in the left lane, in the right lane, Brandon Pierce, a 30-year-old from Moore, Oklahoma.
One of the great matchups. You like Texas, you like Oklahoma. Getting set to go. Brandon Pierce and the Sooner One Motorsports team pulled one of the big upsets in the opening round. He took out John Fink, that beast from the East, in the opening stanza. Spencer Massey with this race car has been doing very well. Again, on the divisional level, he keeps going round. But Brandon Pierce, I'll say the same thing about him I said about some of the other cars. Right now, he's got the best race car that he's ever had. And he's going to need that because the field of cars here, the survivors that are going into the next round in the alcohol dragster category, all capable of running 20s. You're going to have to do that before the day's over to win it.
Brandon Pierce knows that. Was very nervous heading into that opening round stanza. Said had a problem with the motor, had to change it before round number 1 today. It's a different combination than what they're trying to run early in this season, and it slowed to a 5:41. Also remember Brandon Pierce with that huge wheel stand earlier this year in Pomona. Green lights to both. Massey, though, with a massive hole shot. He will ride that all the way to the finish line. 5:29. 268 as the kid from Fort Worth moves into the semis.
I sent some notes around, talked to some people earlier and said the only thing Spencer Massey's got to do is learn how to win. He's been getting to the final rounds and they have some problems in that championship round, but one round closer right now. Great matchup right here. I don't know Brandon Pierce's car right there. It just never moved right off the starting line. Take a look at it and that really nasty tire shake. But he really had problems before that tire shake because he was 0.115 out of the starting gate. You're down a tenth of a second. A car that runs like Spencer Massey, might as well put it in neutral, but still a strong showing for Brandon Pierce, especially with that opening round upset.
Earlier we heard from Mickey Farrow about the emotional weekend we're all going through due to the death of Eric Medlin. Well, one of his best friends is standing by with Gary now.
Yeah, and he wears one of those True Champion t-shirts commemorating the life of Eric Medlin. And I know Morgan doing double duty in the pro ranks and here in the sportsman and the alcohol division. So many things on your mind. How hard has it been to focus on the job at hand?
A lot of stuff going on in my life right now, and a lot of negative things and a lot of good things. You know, got a great race car here, got a great race car in my other pit up there, and I'm just excited to be out here doing this. You know, my parents, they couldn't be here this weekend. Got a nasty lawsuit going on with another company, and just one of those things. We got to do what we got to do, and I'm just proud to be out here and represent Lucas Oil and all my friends and Eric Medlin. I want to bring home the trophy for him, but we're going to have to get the car running a little better to do it.
As a young man who's growing up by leaps and bounds by the day.
That certainly has been a tough weekend, a very emotional weekend for all of us. Bob, I know you've had a couple of tributes at the starting line for Eric. Not a dry eye in the place. He was a very well-loved kid.
Well, it's especially tough for a lot of the young kids out there. I'm talking about the Morgan Lucases, Hillary Willen, top fuel category, Brandon Bernstein. And for a lot of them, it's something they've never experienced before. And for a guy that was so outgoing and so loved as Eric, it really touched everybody, especially so for the kids that were his real close friends.
You're looking at Dwayne Shield. That's the short line express car from Las Vegas, Nevada. Car's been very successful. Driver's been successful here, winner 3 of the last 5 years. He took out Dino Dave Heitzman in round number 1. On the opposite side of the racetrack, that's the only supercharged car left on the racetrack. It's Marty Thacker, who knows he needs to step it up, knows he needs more clutch, knows he needs more motor.
Knows he doesn't need a red light.
Looked to be a close race. Only a 006 red for Marty Thacker. Shields thunders down the racetrack. 531, 274 miles an hour. Pretty good speed.
We probably have, in the semifinals, the most evenly matched cars we've seen on one of our shows in quite some time. We talked about all the 560 cars in the alcohol funny car category. All these cars here running low 530s, big speeds in that 274 to 275 range. Marty Thacker gave it a good shot, but you got to go green, because once that red light comes on, everything else is basically academic.
Well, here's how the semifinals will stack up for these O'Reilly Spring Nationals. And oh, they are monsters. It will be Bill Reichert with lane choice over Dwayne Shields, who looks for his 4th win at Houston Raceway Park. And then it will be Morgan Lucas and Spencer Massey. Lane choice going to the Fort Worth, Texas native. Don't leave your seats just yet. We've got semifinal action and a whole lot more coming your way next as the O'Reilly Spring Nationals continue from Houston Raceway Park. We are back at Houston Raceway Park. Time for the semifinals, beginning in top alcohol funny car. Who's got the mojo to go the distance? We'll find out. Cy Chesterman in that Chippewa water car right there. Or if it's going to be Bob Newberry in the opposite lane. And Bob Fry, as we take a look at this matchup here. Wow, 3 titles on the line, more than 65 national events. It's prime time.
It really is. This is not a place for the faint of heart. We saw all the numbers the guys put up during that second round. Pretty evenly matched up, and like I said, it's been a long while since Bob Newberry came into a semi-final round, the slowest car of the pack. But Cy Chesterman with a brand new combination, the Brad Anderson heads on the race car, the brand new Ford body. You're going to start seeing a lot more of these coming into the class. The Ford bodies might be the thing of the future here in this category.
Technically by the numbers, Bob Newberry, the 05 and 92 champ. Cy Chesterman did it in 2004. There's a good look at Bob Newberry's Valvoline machine. A great opportunity to remind you that our next stop on the Lucas Oil Sportsman Series racing scene is the 8th annual SummitRacing.com Nationals from the Strip in Las Vegas, Nevada. And you can catch all the action on Sunday, April the 22nd at 10 a.m. 1 year ago, Sean O'Bannon swept top alcohol dragster, while Ron August Jr. won in funny car.
Boy, there's some great racers on that. There's some great writers on that SummitRacing.com website, let me tell you.
Bringing them into the lanes, it's Bob Newberry, it's Cy Chesterman. Who's going to go to the finals here at the O'Reilly NHRA Spring Nationals? It's going to be one of these guys.
Yeah, Cy's already light years ahead of where he was in Gainesville, and he busted up the entire new race car. Bob Newberry's going to have to lean on this thing just a little bit.
Dead even out of the gate. Cy's car wiggles, but he's able to drive around Bob Newberry. The numbers 572, 253. Margin of victory about 17 hundredths of a second.
It's amazing. If you told me that somebody's running a 572 in this round, I'd have said they're going home. 573 for Bob Newberry. Cars were basically dead even out of the gate. Bobby really spun the tires off the starting line. He gave up a couple of hundredths right there and really never had a chance to run. Now watch this. See if we can see the tire shake. Look at a little misfire there out of the left bank and comes out. There's that tire shake. He's going to try to drive through it and just throw the whole tune-up on the race car off at that point right there. And he just never recovered.
That may be what gave Cy Chesterman the opportunities. You take a look at the margin of victory earlier on one of the replays. Had a camera out there about 330 feet off the wall. It looks like Cy was driving straight toward it before he corrected it to the middle of the lane. Regardless, Cy Chesterman now waiting for his final round opponent. Who's it going to be? Will it be Brian Haug over in the left lane, or will it be the most recent winner on our Lucas Oil Sportsman Series, Mickey Farrow?
Two very good race car drivers here. Probably have never been on the same racetrack before. One guy's coming in from Oregon. That'll be Brian Haug. Top 3 finished in the Lucas Oil points last year. Mickey was only the 3rd best in the division, but when you had Bob Newberry and Frank Manzo running in Division 1 last year, awfully tough. A lot of the D1 guys are happy. Noob moved down to Florida. He'll run out of that part of the country this year, but right now getting set to go here. This is a very solid race car.
Let's check in with Gary Gerald at the far end.
How good's that cool, refreshing drink after a 72, which might be a little bit of a surprise that gets you in the finals?
Yeah, I don't know what happened to Bob. He must have shook worse than we did. Wasn't a pleasant ride.
When it shakes like that, what, as you can a driver, is it totally out of your control, or what do you do to try to settle things down?
Yeah, well, you just got to pedal it, you know, give it a throttle a wink and try to get it to calm down a little bit. That's all you can do. It just kills the performance, you know. Don't like to do it.
I can understand. He makes it sound so easy, such a natural thing.
Mickey Farrow, did he hold on and take the win? No. Brian Haug drives around him. You saw Farrow press the center line there. Technical numbers for Brian, 561, 254. He's heading to his 10th final round.
It's a great driving job right there by Brian. Mickey had his hands full. Solid performance. 63 would have beaten either of those cars in the last round, but this is all about timing, as much about what you do as the guy in the other lane. Look at Mickey. Came right out of the starting gate, right toward the center line, muscles it back in the center of his lane, but by that time, Brian Haug was just about flawless. Now, the Ryko Hydraulics team machine comes out. A little bit of tire shake, not quite as bad, but he was moving toward the center line at that point. He'll have to literally steer the car. Right there, you saw the big move right back into the center of the lane, but the guy in the other lane's flawless, and you're going to see a lot of that Brian Haug car when you cross the finish line if you're Mickey Farrow.
And watch as the chutes come out. That's not what you want to have happen at certain racetracks. This racetrack got more than enough space, but you can see that red parachute getting tangled underneath the wheelie bar.
Yeah, and a lot of times that can cause an awful lot of damage if it gets way up underneath the race car right there. So just about a nose right there for Brian. So the kid coming in from Oregon City takes that number 3 ranked car last year into the championship round.
And here's our final round matchup. It'll be Cy Chesterman going for his 17th national event win, taking on Brian Haug, who's looking for his 10th. Brian, though, with the lane choice, down with Brian right now, and Gary another 561.
561 seemed to be the number of the day. What do you think it's going to take to win a Wally?
Another 561. This is just awesome. We don't need to run any faster. It'd be nice to run 50s, but hey, running 60s is fine. We heard a motor there. I don't even know. We're from the West Coast. I don't even know who all the people were helping us. We had about 5 teams helping us get a new motor in the car, get the one out. We broke a valve on the last run, and this is just awesome to go to the next round. Thank you. Thanks to my team and all the teams that helped us.
You betcha.
Well, congrats there from Bobby Newberry, and a very nice job right there. That's the way these teams are. You come from Oregon, never met these guys before, but if you need help, they're going to give it to you.
From the heavyweights of Top Alcohol Funny Car, we got some primetime matchups in Top Alcohol Dragster. It's the semis and the long skinny cars when we return to Houston. We're back at Houston Raceway Park outside of Houston, Texas for the O'Reilly Spring Nationals, the 20th version of this, and we move now to our Top Alcohol Dragster categories. You take a look at the ladder. It's Bill Reichert and Spencer Massey with lane choice as we talk about the numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4 qualifiers making it to the semis. That's pretty impressive considering we missed a round of qualifying.
It's not only pretty impressive, it is very rare. Hardly ever happens, but the top 4 cars right here, also 3 of the top 4 finishers in the Lucas Oil points list here. And this little touch there for Bill. When you got the number 1 right on the front of your helmet there, lets everybody know. But all they got to do is look over and see that Rizlone car. He's got a chance to set the speed record here. He's already gone 282 miles an hour. Knows that he let one get away in the final round down there in Gainesville when he was beaten on the whole shot. But right now he's got Dwayne Shields, who has won more races here at this racetrack than even his home place at Vegas, where we're going in a couple of weeks.
In fact, he's won 3 of the last 4 years. Of course, this would be his 4th win here. And Dwayne Shields talked a little bit about the challenge that he and Dana Hopewell faced when they dragged their car from out west, where they run in a dry climate. Once you get here, there's a lot more humidity in the air, and once you get that humidity into the tune-up, it kind of robs horsepower away from the car.
Yeah, Dwayne's already had a good start, going to finals at 2 of the Lucas Oil races in Division 7. Bill Reichert running out in Division 3. They haven't even had their first division race yet. The difference when you come down to this racetrack, though, is this is a marvelous racing surface for these cars to run. You'll see a lot of them here. They love running down at the Motorplex in Texas, love running the division races here because it's just a great racetrack.
Well, Bill Reichert can keep it on all 8. It's going to be exciting. We'll definitely keep it on all 8 cylinders when we head to our next Lucas Oil Sportsman Series event. That's in Las Vegas, and you can catch 1 hour of coverage on April 22nd, 10 a.m. It'll be Bob, it'll be Gary, it'll be me. We'll have a great time from the Strip in Las Vegas, Nevada.
And you're all invited over to Wayne's house for lunch on Thursday night.
Great idea.
Yeah, he doesn't know that yet, but hey, Dwayne, we're coming over to your place, brother.
We'll let you know all about it. So what is Dwayne Shields going to have to do against probably the baddest A-Fuel car right now?
Well, it's certainly not like he's overmatched. I mean, Reichert's been running those big numbers. There's his wife, Gloria, setting him up on the starting line. But it's not like Dwayne Shields got here by luck. This is one of the best race cars in the country. Got a very good, solid tune-up, and absolutely running just about as well as Bill Reichert here. He's a couple of hundredths down. What he needs to do, give himself a chance off the starting line, and then hope the thing hits on all 8 cylinders. Weather's changed. It's warmer. It's more humid than it was earlier in the day. But he is certainly not awed by Bill Reichert.
Bill Reichert's the champ from 06. Dwayne Shields finished 4th in the world. Primetime matchup, the semis here in Houston. Dwayne Shields moves first. Bill Reichert, check out the speed. You are looking at history, 281 miles an hour backs up his previously 282 mile an hour speed. We got a new speed record in top alcohol dragster.
You also have the quickest run in the history of the class, 5.103 for Reichert, 234 miles an hour at half track. Monster run for Bill Reichert. He was 400s down out of the starting gate. Dwayne Shields ran a 5:28, 272. It's like he's in a different zip code when they cross the stripe. That is a flawless performance. And he takes over the top spot, 5.103. We thought we might see some O's at Gainesville because the track and the air were perfect. In a hot, humid day like this, for Bill Reichert to run like that, that's a message to everybody else that you might be running for second place.
And I got to admit, I got caught totally off guard. The previous best ET heading into that round, 5:23. I was shocked when I saw the number when you started talking about it. We're, of course, paying attention to the speed mark. He now holds that record, but wow, unbelievable.
It's interesting because Mitch Myers held the old mark. We talked about Mitch at the last race when Mitch was running 233 and 234 miles an hour. There were different rules, different percentages of nitro. To come out here on this track, run the quickest run ever, run almost 234 miles an hour at half track, that was a flawless performance. If you want to see how to run an A-fuel car on a hot track on a humid day, just dial 1-800-BILL Reichert.
You see the burnout of Spencer Massey in the left lane. The lane that Bill Reichert was just in, and I guarantee he saw all of that scoreboard. He's as impressed as we are. The other side of the racetrack, it's Morgan Lucas. Unbelievable stuff, Gary Gerald.
Bill Reichert, take a swig, cool down a little bit, and get ready for this. A 5:10 at 281 miles per hour, quickest ever in ET, and it backs up your 82 earlier for a speed mark. How's that sound?
That's incredible. That's just unbelievable. We heard it a little bit on that last pass. We tweaked it a little bit, and it must be we did what it liked. The Rizlone dragster, that's just amazing that this car run that fast. I don't know what to say other than Rizlone has been really good to us. And we've got Arthur Glantz wing on there. We bought here just a few weeks ago. It really works good. So that's really cool. I can't believe it.
We'll see if you got anything left in your pocket here for the finals, huh?
Yeah, we'll sure give it our best. Here comes my guys.
Bill Reichert knew it was quick, but even he was stunned when he realized how quickly he just ran.
Like I said, whatever we did, it must have liked it. I'm a dope, and I think it liked it. I mean, you know. Now let's see what Steve Boggs can do because he's just chomping to be. He was with Mitch Myers when they had set the previous best, and that is a great race car. And Spencer Massey, like we said, number 3 in the Lucas Oil points last year, number 3 in the field here. Morgan Lucas sitting out of the 2 spot, looking for the championship this season.
It's going to be Spencer Massey, 5:33, sort of a lackluster number after you watch a 5:10 pop on the scoreboard, 265 mile an hour, the technical data, but Spencer Massey moving on into the finals to try to take on Bill Reichert.
It's like to run a 5:33, you're down almost a quarter of a second going into the final round. Lucas goes 5:37 at 271, and almost like we saw in that funny car with Newberry and Chesterman, these times are not going to impress either one of those drivers. 5:33 gets the win. Now Morgan Lucas and Steve Boggs, we told you before, he's got to be right on the edge. He will call that weak shake. You need enough power in there to get the wheel speed up in the tires. Of course, the other side of that is if you get too much power, you're going to blow the tires off. But Steve said he would always rather do that than have the weak shake because you're not going to win around when you do that.
Down at the far end, the hat comes off. Spencer Massey going to be plenty happy. Still searching for that first national event win, G-Man.
Well, you look for the first national event win, but it's going to take a monster run, it looks like, to beat Bill Reichert. But you run a 33. What do you think it'll take to knock that fella out of the top spot?
Well, I just know I can't beat myself. So if we go out and make a good, solid 20 run, and hopefully old Reichert will step down a little bit. But this good old Rucker Performance Lucas Oil car is running good, and I'm just happy to be in the final round.
All right, we'll see you.
Thank you very much.
You betcha.
He is absolutely right. He has got to learn to win, like we said earlier, and not beat himself in the final. Don't foul, don't smoke the tires. If Bill goes at 10, you get out of the car, you shake his hand and congratulate him, but don't give it up.
Well, we better be paying attention to both the ET and the speed. More importantly, I should, when Bill Reichert comes to the starting line for our top alcohol dragster final. He has lane choice by 0.2 of a second over Spencer Massey. Hey, there's a lot of rain, there's a lot of puddles, but everybody's having a good time here at Houston, and we invite you back for final rounds, which are coming up next.
The NHRA Lucas Oil Sportsman Series, brought to you by Lucas Oil, the world leader in heavy-duty and high-performance lubricants.
Well, it is dark here at the O'Reilly Spring Nationals at Houston Raceway Park. Its final preparations are continuing back in the pits, and we've got some monster matchups coming up. Our next stop in the NHRA Powerade Drag Racing Lucas Oil Series comes your way from Sin City, Las Vegas, Nevada, when Bob Fry, Gary Gerald, and myself head to the Strip. You can catch all the action on ESPN2 and ESPN2 HD on Sunday, April the 22nd at 10 a.m. Please join us. Well, because of the late start today, Bob Fry, we raced the Sportsman Finals late into the evening. Just like we did from Gainesville, we're going to recognize those winners like we did when we recognized the Pomona winners. Are you tracking with me?
I am. Mike Fuqua, one of the big-time money racers out of Hendersonville, Tennessee, and Bragging Racers, finally nails a super stock title, took out the entire Moorhead family, Lincoln in one round, and Ron in the final. Peter Biondo coming off his Lucas Oil World Super Stock title, wins in Stock Eliminator. Arnie Martell's got a good thing going. He beat Kevin Hoteling in the Comp Eliminator final, and Jim Morrison with his world-famous Opal took out Steve Cohen to win in the 990 class, and to punctuate his win, Jimmy ran 990 in the money round.
So what do you think about the finals? Do you like racing tonight?
Oh, it's going to be spectacular. Plus the opportunity here for a national record by that Bill Reichert car. But the main goal for everybody here, turn that win light on. Bill's not here to set the record, although it would be cool, but he is here to win the race.
It would be awesome to see him, I guess, complete the deal, if you will. As you take a look at our finalists, we just went through the funny car. In Top Alcohol Dragster will be the aforementioned Bill Reichert, who's already got the quickest run in Top Alcohol Dragster history on the board. He will take on Spencer Massey. It's the finals as we wrap up the 20th running of the O'Reilly Spring Nationals when we come back to Houston Raceway Park. Today's Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series event is also available on ESPN2 HD, presented by Olivia. Well, day has given way tonight here at Houston Raceway Park in the O'Reilly Spring Nationals, as today's late start means finals has pushed its way into the nighttime skies here in Houston, Texas, and those finals are coming up in just a bit. But right now, I want to remind you that our next stop on the NHRA Powerade Drag Racing Tour is in 1 week, when we'll be in Las Vegas at the Strip for the 8th annual SummitRacing.com Nationals. And you can catch all of our ESPN2 coverage beginning with qualifying Saturday, April the 14th at 6 p.m. Eastern. Race day presented by Lucas Oil kicks us off on Sunday morning at 11 a.m. And then it's 3 hours of final round coverage beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern. Now there's a good-looking shot at the moon, which provides absolutely no heat to the racing surface, which means things have changed.
It's amazing. It looks like the same moon we have in New Jersey. Check that out for you. Yeah. It is different, though. Now, the racers here, two different things. First of all, Dave, the weather conditions completely different. Earlier in the day, the bright sunshine, the muggy weather, the hot track. Now the sun's gone down, track is cooled off. And one other thing for these teams, as we take a look at Cy Chesterman, one half of the final round, beat the Olympic champ in one round, and then took out Smith and Newberry going on into the second round in the semifinals. And very solid race car right here, his new combination. But I wanted to mention these teams, and Cy always comes in with a very limited crew. Les Davenport, Dan Hutchmeyer, the guys that help out. But they've got to run 4 rounds today. Normally the alcohol cars in the Lucas Series get a chance to run round 1 on Saturday night, then 3 rounds on Sunday. So it's kind of like uncharted territory for these guys.
And you mentioned Cy coming in with that new configuration on that race car, the Brad Anderson head setup. Only run 572 heading into the finals, gives up almost a tenth to Brian Haug. But he is a cagey racer, so Brian better be careful.
Yeah, it's very interesting right here. He took out Lee Calloway, making his debut in the alcohol class. Arizona's John Patton, and then he beat Mickey Farah, who's got a red-hot race car there to get here to the championship round. Here's a kid that's been here in both the alcohol dragster, both the alcohol funny car category, coming out of the Oregon area, getting an opportunity right here with his family operation. They've got Lim Saver, they've got Lucas Oil, some folks that help them support this race team and everything. And right now he has got, on average, what do you go, 561? 561 and 561. Let me do the math on that.
I think that averages
I'll get back to you.
Carry the 6, drop the 9. Exactly, 561. Well, Cy Chesterman, of course, no stranger to this category, a former Lucas Oil Sportsman champion. Talked to him a little bit earlier in the day about how he plans to approach this season, and just like you expect, that cigar chomping Cy Chesterman says, we'll go to Vegas and we'll see what happens next.
It's really usually no middle ground for Cy. This car can come out. It's a 550 race car. It's a big speed race car. Or we can see it do what it did in that round earlier when he goes 572 or 573. Conversely, Brian Haug, if they've got all the parts back in this race car, and of course they heard a little stuff early in both the second and third rounds, as he mentioned, They got everything back together right now. He'd love to dip into the 50s, but his main goal here, turn that wind light on 4 times.
I wonder what he'd choose, a pass here in the 50s or maybe another 561 in a national event trophy?
Well, you got to watch what you ask for. We've seen drivers come to this racetrack a few years ago. One of the drivers said, I always wanted to run a 50, ran a 50 in the final round, got beat on a hole shot. So watch what you ask for.
You know, Brian Haug's last win came in Seattle. It was a Lucas Oil Sportsman Series event right here on ESPN. He did that, and as I mentioned, in Seattle. Cy Chesterman, no stranger to the winner's circle. He's been there 16 times, so you got some pretty good talent. These guys are getting ready to fire these race cars up for our final.
Yeah, 2 top 5 drivers in the points from last year. Cy, of course, we always think that he could go further in the points if he decided to go out and run a lot of the national events, but he really runs a schedule that fits in with his business. A Coca-Cola bottler from out there in Sioux City, Iowa. Been in the family, actually been bottling soft drinks since before Coca-Cola was even a brand. But they've got a very good race car right here. But you got to think that Brian Haug, he has been so consistent right here today. I believe he's got to be the favorite going into this final.
Now, I know you give props to New Jersey. That's where you're from, and we love all the New Jersey people like Ace Manzo. I come from the central part of the United States, near Sioux City, Iowa. I drank a lot of that man's soda pop growing up.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity right here. He's just a solid businessman, enjoys riding his Harley-Davidson and spending time with the family. Like I said, he's got Dan Hutchmeyer. We saw Les Davenport out there, who's just a whiz with these supercharged engines. And Cy needs that help with this new combination.
Well, the burnouts are complete, and kind of a special treat here on the Lucas Oil Sportsman Racing Series. Not something that comes along very often. A nice nighttime run, and fortunately we're not going to see those 8-foot header flames as I'm pushing nitro through these. Bill Reichert's car, though, coming up in just a moment, may spit out some flames.
Yeah, both of the A fuel cars, and we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We're talking about the possibility of maybe the first 5-0 run in the history of the sport with that Bill Reichert car, and his goal is the same, just to win the race. But this will be very interesting. Nice to see this team come in from Oregon. That's a hike. They'll go back there. They have not yet opened up their Lucas Oil Division Racing in Division 6. We'll see these cars again back in Las Vegas in just a couple of weeks. So an early season showdown, like we said, with Frank Manzo sitting this race out, with Newberry, Payne on the sidelines. A good opportunity for one of these 2 guys to put one in the win column, get some valuable Lucas Oil points early.
The sun gets off the racetrack, the track tightens up, and the way these cars shake, you got to believe that the team that control that tire shake here, they switch through the gears, going to be able to probably hit the finish line first. Pulling into the pre-stage reams now.
I saw a great shot of those Hoosier tires on the back there of Cy Chesterman's race car. If he can calm those things down, should be a great drag race, but I believe Haug's going to run 61 or better.
Based on what? Side by side. Brian Haug. Oh my goodness, he slowed. 562.
But got a little bit out of the groove right there. You can see him back on the starting line, and the family and his wife Mindy, and everybody really excited as they should. That's a good old drag race. 562, 250 the speed. Cy Chesterman at 566. They were dead even out of the starting gate. And you'll see a little bit of a wiggle. That's not much tire shake right there. He really did calm it down. That's very conservative compared to what we've seen. He's got this new engine combination, got that Ford body, drifts over there near the middle, straightens back out. That's a lot of time to waste. You need to go in a straight line. They both drifted toward the center. Brian's car a little bit better at the top end of the racetrack. May have hurt the motor at the end, but they got the win.
Best run of the weekend for Cy Chesterman, but not quite enough to beat the Junction City Oregon racer Brian Haug. You want to talk about a close margin of victory? Here it is, the finish line. By just about, we'll go ahead and call it a car length.
Isn't that amazing? 0.04 of a second separated them. They were both dead even at the starting line. Excellent run right there for the kid.
Brian Haug's 5th win also looked like it maybe gave up the ghost at the finish line, Gary Gerald.
Well, waiting for that helmet to come off, the excitement. You make that long pull from Oregon, you come to Texas, and you go out of here with the hardware. That's got to be a great feeling. And Brian struggling, gets that helmet off. Talk to me about consistency and how this car has been today. This time, you slipped just a notch. It was a 62, not a 61. What happened?
62 is just fine. You know, we didn't try it. Our computer wasn't working all weekend, so all I was able to do is talk to my team and say, hey, what did you see? And do, I guess, like they used to do, is tune by the seat of your pants. And it worked. I tried to, adjust to the conditions each time. They were changing all the way through, and we were able to adjust and run the same number again. I want to thank my team, thank all the people that helped us switch motors after that E2 run when we broke a valve. Thank our sponsor, Limb Saver, Lucas Oil, and GK. Thank you.
You betcha. Woo! What a job. They had to do it 4 times today, as you pointed out, Bob, rather than the usual 3.
Interesting, coming to Texas where Friday night lights and football are big. That gets from Oregon City, Oregon, which historically has some of the great high school girl basketball teams in the country, and he comes all the way down here and gets the big win.
And now the anticipation builds. National elapsed time record on the line. Not for this man, Spencer Massey. All he wants to do is get his first national event win.
He said in that interview with Gary after the last run, I cannot beat myself. And it's very interesting because he's been to the final round 3 times, yet to score. Bill Reichert knows what that's like, because before he got this race car running like it has been the last year and a half, he struggled, made a lot of final rounds, but had trouble closing the deal. He knows exactly what the kid's going through. Spencer's 24 years old, out of Fort Worth, Texas. Vernon Wild is the crew chief on this race car. He's been part of the operation since they put it together, but all eyes are going to be on that Rizlone team right now. He is obviously the odds-on favorite.
Check out the number, 5.153.
Look at the speed.
284 miles an hour. Again, a 2-mile-an-hour jump. Bill Reichert has gone quicker, has gone faster than everybody else in top alcohol dragster history this weekend, and it ends with a national event trophy.
You know, there's not too many things sweeter than sweeping a national event. Look at that. The best speed coming into this weekend was 280. He goes 282, then he goes 284, backs up his run from earlier, sets the national record. #1, low ET, top speed. Spencer Massey at 533. Those are the numbers we mentioned in the last round. Almost exactly what he ran, and we said that he didn't think he'd have a chance to win it. He ran at 33, and he didn't.
Did you get the impression, looking at the way the flames were bouncing around on this car, that it was going to be that good?
No, but it obviously was. He ran 231 at the half track, so down about 3 miles an hour to what his best speed had been. Now let me tell you, you come in here, that is a thing of beauty. To come out of the top spot like he did, especially coming off of a whole shot loss in the final in Gainesville. So he sets the national record right here, sets the speed record, gets away with the trophy. Plus they got best appearing crew. Not a whole lot he didn't do here this weekend.
Indeed, Bill Reichert is on fire here at Houston Raceway Park. He's making his way around the far end of the racetrack right now, and you got to believe when that helmet comes off and Gary Gerald tells him the numbers again, we're going to see a stunned look on the face of the Rizlone driver.
Yeah, if Gary called him sick, I'd love to be down there to break the news right now to Bill, because that was just an awesome, awesome performance right now. I mean, it's a thing of beauty when you watch that. You witnessed a little bit of history here today. Quickest run, fastest run, backs it up, and just did everything you could do here. Marvelous performance.
Here, Gerald, I was down at the far end of the racetrack when Frank Manzo decided that Richmond, Virginia would be the time to start ripping off 540s left and right. It was one of my most fond memories. This one's certainly going to be a great one for you as Bill Reichert struggles to get the hardware off.
Yeah, he knows it was good.
Bill's getting a little hand here. We'll get that helmet off and we'll find out. He'll get a chance to listen to the numbers, because it's been a spectacular day, as you guys have pointed out. 515, Bill, but the big number, 284.75. What do you think about it?
That's just unbelievable. I can't believe that we've got the Rizlone dragster running. Just unbelievable. I don't hardly know what to say. The 280 what?
284.75.
84.75. No, the 515 probably doesn't back up the 510. Maybe, I don't know. I'd have to do the math.
I haven't done the math. We'll let Bob Fry do that. He's from Jersey.
You did good too, man. Good job.
Tell me about the conditions and the fact that you've been through a little bit of everything. A high humidity, then you had warm day. Now you're running under nighttime conditions. Difficult to tune the car?
It gives you different problems that you have to overcome. And as soon as you can see how to overcome them, the car loves it. You know, if you do the right thing. It's asking for the right thing to be done.
Outstanding. Congratulations.
Yes!
As speechless as I've ever seen you, Bob.
It's amazing. I mean, it's awe-inspiring performance. It's a pleasure to be here to get paid to watch history.
Now that's going to wrap it up for our Lucas Oil Racing Series action. Coming up next will be the 2000 Bausch & Lomb Championships, women's professional tennis. Our congratulations to Brian Haugen, Bill Reichert, for Bob Fry and Gary Gerald. I'm Dave Reef, sending our thoughts, our prayers to John Medlin and the John Force Racing families. We'll see you next time we go racing in Las Vegas.